what if I told you what's inside this box holds a 300-watt light that's brighter than most of your studio setup and fits inside your backpack? This is the Sirui C300X version 2, and it might be the last portable light that you'll ever need. So let's unbox it. Alright, so you got your standard warranty card. There is a power cable right here. There is a V-mount plate, I believe, right here. That's dual side V-mount, one on each side here. How do I even take this out? Oh, a handle, a giant Bowens mount. This is a cable, I believe it is a D-tap cable. And this is a normal power cable. Yep. And there's also one more. So grip mounts thing right here. And lastly, the light. This is a 300-watt light. 300. That's crazy. I'm actually kind of nervous to try this out. All right, striking. Oh shoot! I said that. Wait, my shot is completely overexposed. As you can see from my monitor right now, like you can't see anything. Hold on, I'm so sorry. That's 100%. Oh god, I am so sorry. All right, 1%, 1%. All right, 10%, 30. You can already barely see me, so I'm gonna shoot this way instead. Like 30%, 50%, 70, and 100. That is bright. That is so bright. And then you can, also it supports different color control. Let me keep it at 1% so you can kind of see. So even that is still kind of hard to see, but it ranged from 2700, so kind of warm lights as you can see on my hand, to 6500, so it's much colder. There's a giant fan on the back here, and also a fan on the power unit. There's also this giant Bowens mount, which will of course increase the brightness and more focus of the light, which I'm not gonna try that on my face right now. So this is something that I talked about many times before, is that we have made very awesome small lights. Like they're small, they're powerful, and the next step I think makes sense is what companies are doing now, which are they're making lights that are a little bit bigger, but they're gonna be a lot more powerful, like way more powerful. This is a 300-watt light. I remember some company before, they made a 120, like 100 watt to 120 watt light that is the size of like the case. I remember it's like the size of this case for the light, and that was considered small at one point. Now this thing is this small. Even the power unit is pretty small. Let's also look at what we have here. There is a two button. One is for the CCT, which is the color by color. This is then there's a dim, which is for the power. But long press it is a function which bring into other stuff, which is like what is the max you can set the light, and then you can also have Bluetooth turn on, so meaning you can connect it to your device. And if I long press the CCT button, let's see what it brings me to. Oh shoot! I don't know what I just did. Oh, this is different effects. So there's candlelight. There's like all kind of effect that we have seen in most light nowadays. That is not the most intuitive way to get to the lights. And also because when I'm in this mode, I can control the power, which is a little bit strange. So let's talk about this. The Sirui C300X version 2, the second version. It is a handheld 300-watt spotlight with studio power, backpack portability, if you want to fit this in your backpack. You saw everything that's in the box right now. You got the light, you got the V-mount plate, you got the battery, you got this giant reflector, there's the D-tap to DC cable, and of course, a very cool carrying case. This guy here. I love it when a company make carrying case, because even if I'm not bringing it around, I can easily, store my stuff, throw in my trunk. I know exactly where things are. Now let's talk about the lights. The size and the weight is actually pretty similar to like a camera. I think it's lighter than a camera, so that's give you some perspective. For most 300-watt lights, they're 2 to 3 times heavier, and they're also twice as thick. So Sirui is not messing around. They really create a really powerful light that's super light. But of course, with that in mind, some of the stuff is more plasticky. So I wouldn't drop this per se. So I guess you can say like one of this is almost equivalent to 10 from the past, depends on how long the past you're talking about. But don't let the size fool you. This thing put out 310 watts of true output. That's 55,000 lux at 1 meter with these reflectors, which is almost twice as bright as the original C150X, aka the Pocket Sun. So if you shoot in a chaotic location like a wedding or like, a Comic-Cons or like, some cosplay studio with, mixed lighting, this can punch through with clean, consistent light. So let's say you're doing run and gun shooting, you can just mount a dual V mount plate, the 2 batteries on it, and use D-tap to power it. Or, you can hot swap the batteries once it's run out, so you can keep on going and going. If you're doing like a studio shoot that's very small, you can always ceiling rig this. It's only 7.2 centimeter thick, so you just don't even see it in your shot. Color accuracy on this is also still pretty good. It is CRI 96 or TLCI 97. So skin tone, product shoots, raw workflow like this, got you all covered. As I said before, the color temperature range from 2700 to 6500 with less than 50K deviation. So props to them for that. And you can control everything with the Bluetooth 5 from up to about 15 meters away. So that's perfect for people who are shooting by yourself, like me sometimes. And you just want to control it, or like let's say you have it screwed somewhere on the top of your on a C-stand, or like you just put it somewhere far away, you can control that by using just the Bluetooth. Also, let's talk about this V-mount plate for just a second. They have actually the dual lock here, so to prevent it if your battery from dropping suddenly, or like you accidentally tap into it and your lights run out. That happened on shoot before, so that is a really good thing that I always like seeing when they have a little lock, a battery lock for V-mounts. So here's the bottom line. The Sirui C300X2 is very compact, it's pretty powerful, it is quiet, and it's pretty flexible. You can use it on the go, you can shoot it in the studio, depends how you want to do it. But again, very, very powerful. At 300 watts, you have, a lot of capability. I mean, the only downside that I would see is that like 1% could be too bright, depends on your situation, especially if you have to work with other lights around and you can't really make it go lower. So that is the only downside, but not really that much. So my point is like, if you have other light that's super bright and you want to shoot somewhere that's like, with lots of power, you can just get 2 or 3 of these and you will have, stronger power. Again, I really like having ball mount. With all the light that we have seen so far, all the small lights, they are using like their own mounts. Like every brand now is making their own like kind of different mounts because they want to be compact. They want to be special. So the problem is that a lot of my stuff are still using ball mounts. My reflector like this, or like my softbox. Most of them are ball mounts. So I think this is as small as light can get if you still want to use ball mounts. I mean, I guess the only way you can make this even smaller is to, take out this little grip right here. Like that's barely any grip length compared to, the ball mounts right here. So, this is almost as small as you can get. So this is really awesome. 300 watts. Yeah, what more can you ask for? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm excited to see more products, more crazy stuff, invention out there for photography and videography. And if you also enjoyed that, please follow my channel, click the subscribe button, leave a comment, tell me what else you want to see. And my name is Martin, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.